Cities are about pedestrian movement. Vehicles can always easily get around in the streets, but it's really how you move people and people spaces. I mean, cities are social situations where people congregate, and we want to make sure that we provide environments where they can indeed do that. The bridge starts at the Air Canada Centre and finishes at Water Park Place. It travels basically out of the Air Canada Centre, underneath the Gardiner, into 90 Harbour, what is 1 York 90 Harbour. It crosses over Harbour Street and ending at Water Park Place. It actually finishes the whole path sequence at a feature entrance at Water Park Place that is the gateway to the waterfront, and a gateway from the waterfront to the path system into downtown Toronto. The bridge is actually the brainchild of Oxford Properties. Part of its lease negotiation with RBC required that they have a path connection from Union Station to whatever building they were going to take over. In this case, it was Water Park Place. Here you are provided with a safe, pedestrian-friendly connection between their building and a major transit hub. So the bridge was a simple solution to a very complex problem in this way. We actually presented the idea of a bridge because the tunnel itself, just to negotiate its way down, was a circuitous route. A bridge, we could do almost a straight connection, literally from Union Station right to the waterfront. And the cool thing is, when you think of the path system in downtown Toronto, you're walking through the path system, it's this underground system, but suddenly you emerge into this kind of bright glass enclosure that picks up on the light quality of the water. You're suddenly kind of dazzled in a way as you walk into this, and it just gets better as you emerge finally in this kind of gateway that we have at Water Park Place. Down on the waterfront, we're doing this grand boulevard scheme that extends from Bathurst over to Cherry Street, where it'll just be a big grand promenade. This is our way of bringing people from the downtown, being able to walk right down to the waterfront in this way. The problem with the bridges in general is that they had to be pre-assembled completely and then brought into place. You could not assemble them over the highways because you're dealing with basically traffic moving and the like. It's a very unsafe situation. So what happened is they were actually assembled over on a site near Parliament and Lakeshore, just by the grain silos there, and then they were brought over intact. Usually at midnight on a Saturday night, and there was one in June, one in August, and one in September, because there are 3 bridge components. Their first piece that was attached was the portion that extends out of the Air Canada Centre. It extends from the Air Canada Centre to the edge of the Lakeshore Gardiner. The second piece, indeed, was the Gardiner Bridge that was put in between that first initial bridge and then into 90 Harbour itself. The third bridge is the one that we're standing on right now, is the one which extends over Harbour Street itself. The 2 bridges, the one at the ACC and the one at Harbour Street, were easily able to be brought over intact and then lifted by crane into place. The hard thing with the Gardiner Bridge is that there were no ways to indeed have a crane because you have the Gardiner in the way above you. So they took about 2.5 hours on this specialized truck that has 100 wheels and 100 pistons that keep the bridge level. It was brought into place, and strange, in a cool kind of way, it was actually parallel parked into situation. It was then hydraulically lifted up. Rather than craning it up, it was actually pulled up, and then it was put onto a series of tracks. These tracks are actually placed in there because the bridge has to move. The Gardiner does need repairs off and on, and we have to allow for that. So the bridge actually slides east and west. So in putting it on, what they did is they slid it into its kind of western position, and then they slid it back into place into its final eastern position. These bridges that we've designed are actually quite transparent. You can see literally through them. They're entirely of glass. For 2 reasons. One, that you can see through, and 2, there's a quality of light that you have down on the waterfront that is unmatched in the downtown core. There's kind of a sparkle and kind of a reflectivity, and there's a level of light that's just so much more intense, and we really wanted to bring that into the experience of coming down to the waterfront.